Okay, this kind of depends on the company standards. You're giving bad ideas to employers that are going to lose some stuff. Remember, this is very specific to companies where it's like, your job is X. I'm asking you to graph something. I'm asking you to do something, which is it's an art. It's an NTF. The company, if you work for that company, has every right to be like, your job isn't as valuable as you say it is. But there's also a time fraud, work fraud case to that. It's like, your company has denied me not just raises or vacations. At some point in time, pay will correlate to vacations, won't it? Because of some political play. But it also has to do with this base of like, you have to be specific under the company's name for the case. If it was Jamie Dimon out there with JP Morgan, and it's like, well, they're still doing the same work, but it's like, normally I would say, well, they travel in and back and forth. That's why I'd give somebody off of the minimum wage from starting position, not minimum wage, but the line that defines, I can't really hire anybody in here. They don't work for me. They won't come in unless there was an original standard for the distance they traveled. Now, the technology behind this no longer made that relative. But a secretary from home that still does all the secretary stuff, and that's in its own a different value, has a different trajectory of whether that case will come back, even if you get rid of them, or they quit, or they create a pressure on this that says, time fraud, work fraud, Your Honor. The reason I went to this case about this and hired a lawyer for the League of Presidents is because I don't want to quit. I like this life. They don't want to get rid of me, but we have a different set of opinions on what that value is, and I can't get anybody in here to graph it. Could you please fed that for me and try to explain this person? The differential of me leaving inside here is bad. I don't want to leave. I'm not trying to start a fight with somebody, but I need some kind of backup that is not my own company's standard for it. Now, in the larger end of these companies, there's a lot of reasons. In the stone mill, it's like, well, I can cut the pay on quantum physicists here because, well, I'm not doing quantum physics on the stone mill floor. I'm cutting a rock. I'm producing a product. That product has specific value under gravity. So it's going to go by supply and demand, what people are willing to pay for. Then, not fully autonomous, the arbiter at the car factory, I provide a certain skill that says, well, when you actually graph outputs of people, there's a big difference. There's a huge difference between the end result and the union workers or somebody who isn't on a union timeline like that, where it's not like, there's no ladder on promotions and raises. There's no ladder on skill sets that you learn. There's no adjusted models on somebody's learning real fast. How am I adjusting those things? And there damn well should be in every fucking company. You know, it's ridiculous, especially if some of you people went to college. That's why I have no mercy on you. Right? That's your own problem of not paying Jody what you needed to pay her, being the secretary. Not caring about Karen or Salty or one of these other ones, not adjusting for that kind of big salty momentum that comes through. I'm not saying you should be fearful of that. I'm not saying you should. I'll use those numbers against you in any kind of standard. AR 15-0-1, those companies, to say the value under the standard right now, regardless of what fucking country I live in,